$4,000 just for the booth fee at the national convention, and I had a big fundraising effort for that. And altogether, it cost about $10,000 for that convention.
What was the response like, though, when you're there amongst the architects and engineers?
Oh, it's amazing. I would say about 80% of them will stop, and we'll invite them to stop. They do stop. Many of them, 20% maybe, we figure, walk by kind of shaking their heads. But the majority will stop and actually talk to us. Of those, we were able to get very lively, and I mean positive, lively conversations going, because once they actually see Building 7 go down, we've got them. And a good percentage of them will say, "This is incredible. I've got to look at this more." And we signed up about 60 of them that
Richard
day.
Gage, again, this is exponential. If you continue, we will rout the enemy. The mainstream media can't ignore this forever. We're going to play some of that clip. Just you're getting on more and more mainstream television with the facts as a degreed architect engineer. So we're going to come right back with Richard Gage, the founder and head of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. Stay with us. Richard Gage, let's start blasting into it now. The evidence of the controlled demolition, people know those basics, but the evidence now has been looked at, peer-reviewed journals. Other top engineers, scientists, physicists around the world are coming out doing their own research, separate, verifying your research. The other architects and engineers in your group, the other physicists, Professor Stephen Jones' information being verified, major universities. I mean, this has really got to worry the establishment to the point of, for those that don't know, this is in Politico today. It's up on prisonplanet.com. Obama, I am aware that some question or justify the events of 9/11. So they either justify it saying it was good. He tries to mix those two. So now if you say the government did 9/11 or was involved, you want 9/11 to happen. See how that's a quote. I am aware that some question or justify the events of 9/11. Wait a minute. Questioning the events of 9/11 isn't justifying them. See, that's, you like the killers, huh? No, I'm saying, why is that building falling that way? Shut up, Al-Qaeda. Well, actually, Al-Qaeda is a CIA creation. Shut up, Al-Qaeda. This is the mindlessness they like to engage in. We're just asking the serious questions here. So they're really starting to get worried, just like George Bush saying, those that put out outrageous conspiracy theories concerning the events of 9/11. He told people they better shut up, but they didn't. So Richard Gage, it's getting exciting what's happening on the scientific front.
Yeah, it is. And the 700 architects and engineers that I represent are technical and building professionals, not conspiracy theorists. Not that there aren't conspiracies out there. There obviously is a conspiracy. In fact, we know the official story is a conspiracy. Actually, it turns out to be an outrageous one. When you look at the facts, the scientific forensic facts found at the crime scene of the destruction of these three high-rises, you find facts that all seem to line up in support of the theory of explosive controlled demolition. This is science that we're looking at. And so the architects are, as I mentioned, are first dumbfounded by the free fall acceleration of Building 7. And this is acknowledged by the government, actually.
That's right. At first, NIST denied it, but you guys confronted them, and they have to admit the building did free fall. It wasn't fuel oil. It wasn't Keebler elves. It wasn't structural failure because of bad building. They don't know. And then they made up a magic thermal expansion.
And this thermal expansion is their magic bullet. They first of all, they claim that there are massive fires on floors 12 and 13 during the last couple hours of the building, but the photos and videos show those fires out in that area the last hour and a half of the building, and this is at the area of column 79 under the east penthouse. So this new phenomenon is what they call it thermal expansion because of these massive fires that weren't even there, but they expanded these long span 50-foot beams, pushing the girder off of its seat off of column 79, causing a floor failure and then to 9 floor failures, leaving column 79 unbuckled. So what then happens is an internal cascading and failure of the building a few seconds prior to the overall building coming down. The problem is that would require 400 structural steel connections to fail per second in order, and their model shows actually like sand, just all of these beams just giving up the ghost all of a sudden in all of these columns.
Which is ridiculous in the few, as you know, as an architect and engineer, but for those that don't, there have been a few older buildings where small areas have collapsed under the main structure, and that's how it is. It's not symmetrical. You don't have a building with unsymmetrical fires that couldn't bring it down anyways, magically falling straight down, unless it's, boom, a controlled demolition.
Well, in order to bring a building straight down symmetrically into its own footprint and at freefall acceleration, you have to take out at least the core columns. There's 24 of them within a tenth of a second of each other, precisely timed synchronistically floor by floor. And so the fire doesn't have this level of precision, and people really get that part of it as well.
Exactly. Jawas didn't attack the sand crawler, but we're made to think they did. Only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise.
Yes. And so the acknowledged, NIST previously actually acknowledged, this is the National Institute for Standards and Technology responsible for the report, they previously acknowledged that if the building did free fall, that would mean there would be no structure. Now they acknowledge the free fall, but they don't acknowledge the implications that those columns had to have been forcibly removed in order to facilitate it.
All right, stay there, Richard. Got to come back. We're going to come back and talk about more of the evidence and all the science building, how you see the crisis coming up in the future of the establishment story.